It's time now for the Kill the Can podcast.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kill the Can podcast. I hope your week is off to a tremendous start. It is a Tuesday morning. I'm on the way to work. It's a little bit of a rainy day here in Cleveland. I'm hoping the weather turns around here this afternoon. My son is slated to start he's a pitcher, start the varsity baseball game this evening. So hopefully weather turns around here in Cleveland and we get a good afternoon. Wanted to talk this morning on this episode of the podcast about canker sores. Sores in your mouth when you quit dipping. I have dealt with canker sores, or I did deal with canker sores quite a bit when I first quit, and for several years after. A canker sore or a sore, let's take a step back. Sores in general. I get these questions pretty consistently when people quit. Oh my God, I just quit dipping. I'm a couple weeks in, and now I've got these sores. Is it something I should be worried about? My standard answer for this is anything that happens to your body that's different in the first couple weeks of your quit, you can attribute to your quit. And what I mean by that is kind of just what it says, right? You would be shocked at the things in your body that change right after you quit dipping. You will develop sores. You will develop aches. Your jaw will tingle. You will sleep poorly. Your digestion will be messed up. There is a litany of withdrawal symptoms that come along with quitting dip. Sores in your mouth and changes in your mouth and your gums and your cheeks is a very common symptom. Now, I will preface this entire podcast, as I do with all of the shows, with I am not a doctor, I am not a dentist, so I'm speaking purely from personal experience in most cases, or anecdotal experience in the experiences of thousands of quitters in the Kill the Can community over the past 2 decades, nearly 2 decades that I have been quit. Canker sores is one of those things that I can speak to from personal experience. So, first of all, what is a canker sore? So, a simple canker sore, typically will appear 3 to 4 times a year. They will last anywhere from a week to 10 days. They typically will affect people, in the 15 to 25 or 30-year-old range. But just because you're out of that range doesn't mean you're free from potential canker sores. Doctors really don't know exactly what brings them on, but what they think, and most of the research that I've done, they think cause them things like stress, certain acidic foods like lemons, oranges, tomatoes, those kind of things, or mouth trauma, such as chewing on ice, sharp tortilla chips, those kind of things. What I will add to that is, if there's anything that I would define as quote-unquote mouth trauma, it is jamming dip or chew into your mouth for several decades, and then subsequently the healing that comes along when you quit that as well. So I would also add that to that list. Other things that might lead to canker sores: deficiency of vitamin B12, zinc, folic acid, or iron. A lot of people will confuse a cold sore and a canker sore. A cold sore is typically on the outside of your mouth, around your lips. That is not a canker sore. Those are cold sores. Cold sores are typically not associated with quitting dip. So what are the symptoms of a canker sore? They hurt. They hurt like a son of a bitch. They hurt really, really bad. They are typically inside your mouth, on your tongue, inside your cheek. As you know, unfortunately, this is a prime area for dippers. I can tell you from experience, there's nothing worse than if you get a canker sore on the side or underneath your tongue at the same time as you have one on the inside of that same cheek. It makes drinking or eating or doing anything with your tongue and mouth, even talking, really, really painful. They are typically round. They're white or gray in color, and they typically have a little red ring around the outside edge of them. Like I said, they can be really, really painful. I had one time that it was not funny. I was at the dentist, and I also have a condition in my mouth called torus mandibularis, which is effectively a bone spur that grows in my mouth. On top of that, I had a canker sore, and it might have been the most painful thing that I've ever dealt with in my life. And so I was in the dentist one day, and I had him look at it, and, he said, "Oh yeah, you've got a canker sore there. Yeah, that's a really bad spot, but don't worry, it'll go away." Well, long story short, my wife and I went to a wedding that weekend, and that canker sore got abscessed on top of being a typical canker sore. Long story short, it took probably 3 or 4 weeks and several rounds of medication. I believe it was antibiotics, if I'm remembering correctly, for it to go away. Here's the bottom line when it comes to canker sores. They hurt, but most of the time, I will say the overwhelming majority of the time, they are not anything to be worried about long term in terms of your quit, in terms of cancer. I know when I was originally quitting and dealing with these canker sores, my first thought, because I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, always went towards, oh my God, I've got cancer. Oh my God, I waited too long to quit dipping. What have I done? Did I wait too long? Holy shit, now I've got cancer. Again, I'm not a dentist and I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you the overwhelming majority of times that is not the case. So I'm saying that if you're dealing with this, to give you a little bit of a peace of mind. Now, back to my original statement about anything that happens in the first couple weeks of your quit, you can attribute to your quit. That's not to say that you're only going to have withdrawal type symptoms the first couple weeks of your quit. They can extend much longer into that. That little kind of saying, though, has been developed really to put new quitters' minds at ease at the beginning of their quit. I will also tell people, if anything in your mouth sticks around for more than a couple of weeks, there is nothing wrong with going to a dentist or your doctor and having them take a look at it. If for nothing else, it will give you an amazing peace of mind and you won't have to worry about it any longer. And if it is something more serious, then you've caught it very early and you can begin to address it. Again, I want to stress, most of the time when you're dealing with something quit related, it's going to work itself out and it will go away within a couple of weeks. But again, seeking medical attention for things that are sticking around longer than that is always a good thing. And again, will give you some amazing peace of mind as you go through your quit. The other thing that I would urge people to do, share your experiences with your group members within Kill the Can. Never be afraid to share an experience, something that you're going through. And that is exactly why Kill the Can and the Hall of Fame groups are set up the way that they are. They're set up by the month so that your home group, you are primarily interacting with people that are roughly at the same stage of your quit. Don't be afraid to bring up what you would consider a quote-unquote serious topic just because people are laughing and joking about other things. That's what the community is there for. We are first and foremost there to deal with our addiction and deal with the withdrawals and deal with everything that comes along with our quit. So please don't be afraid. And I would urge you, if you've got a bump, if you've got a scrape, if you've got something that concerns you, if you've got a sore in your mouth that you've never dealt with before, please tell your group members what it is you're dealing with. Because here's the thing, I can almost guarantee you that somebody else in that group is dealing with the exact same thing that you are. You are not alone. And your quit most likely is not unique. One more thing that I will leave you with that set my mind at ease during one conversation with my dentist. I went in, I was dealing with a canker sore, and he told me, he said, most of the time, the bad stuff doesn't hurt. And what he's referring to by the bad stuff is cancer. And that really set my mind at ease. So when you're dealing with a really painful canker sore, your mind doesn't have to go directly to cancer the way mine always did all of those times. It is an honor to be quit with every single one of you. I'll talk to you soon, quitters. Have a wonderful day.
Join us again next time for another edition of the Kill the Can podcast.